All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Unslaved. Very happy to be here with you once again. And we have Esoteric Thoughts joining us on Unslaved. He's got an amazing YouTube channel that is growing by the day. He's featured Michael on there many times with just some bombshell videos. He's got amazing guests on there. He's featured Ralph Ellis and so many other amazing people talking about astrology, astrotheology, religion, esoteric subjects, and much more. And we are very happy to have him here all the way from the UK. Esoteric, thanks for joining us, man.
Thank you. Thank you both.
Well, Michael, over to you. You've had some really great conversations with Esoteric on his channel. You can look it up, by the way, for those listening in. Just go to look up Esoteric Thoughts. It's there. But maybe a little introduction for us there, Michael.
Yeah, and welcome, Esoteric. Have done some very good shows. The ones that focus on interviews he's done with me are on my astrotheology site under interviews and videos. You'll find them there. But definitely, there's so much more on his channel. Extraordinary things. We'll try to touch on a couple of them. But also some blowback has been happening, not just threatening the physical channel, but threatening Esoteric's life and so on. So maybe we touched on this last time when you were on, but since then there's actually been more blowback from Christians. Tell us, let's start with that. What on earth are they up to? What is their main peeve against what you're doing, Esoteric, if you will?
Yeah, it's really strange. So since the last time I appeared on Unslaved, the amount of threats and death threats have gone down, but the nature of the threats now, I can actually tie them back to particular videos. So, for example, the video that we done on the occult, the backlash from that was pretty much that these are topics that I shouldn't be discussing. One, as a former Christian. Two, as a Black social media person, these are things that are not discussed in the Black community. So there has been a backlash. And if you go back to the video, one of the first things I ask you is that there are certain words that are taboo, and occult, anything beginning with astro, these are words that are pretty much taboo in the Black community. So to discuss these, especially in the context of religion, is not something that is taken lightly by theists.
And who are these people specifically? Because remember, everything's broken up into denominations and so on, isn't it? So who do you find? Is it Catholic? Is it Protestant? Is it Black? Is it white? I mean, who comes after you the most?
It's predominantly Black pastors. In terms of white pastors or white priests or bishops, I get emails, but there's a willingness to have a discussion. So there's more of a willingness to discuss the information. In the Black community, there's still a lot of resistance. So it's really not about attacking the information. It's about attacking me. It's about attacking you. It's about attacking why am I putting this information out? Because the general theme is nobody needs to hear that. I'm confusing people. So the more videos I put out, the general theme is, why do people need to hear that? Because especially, and this is quite key, especially from Black theists who take the Bible literally, that's where I get the most pushback. I can almost guarantee that if I do get pushback, it's from the literalists. That's where the issue comes from.
And have you had any videos removed as a result of this by YouTube?
Yes, so I've had 2 videos temporarily removed, but they were reinstated within 48 hours. It's almost becoming a running joke now with YouTube, that unfortunately, because of how the algorithms work, YouTube decide to take the videos down straight away and then do an investigation after. So I've had the videos reinstated, but yeah, it's amazing the depths that people will go to simply to hide and cover up information.
That's probably because they're reporting you. That's probably how it gets triggered.
100%.
Yeah. And my name is already pretty much shadow banned and deplatformed, so it doesn't help.
Agreed.
That could be an issue down the line, but yeah, that's extraordinary. Now, of course, it's interesting. Let me ask you. Oh, well, there's one question I want to ask later. So, yeah. So then, these are people that have their own channels and podcasts. Some of these.
No. That's the bizarre thing. I don't get pushback from fellow YouTubers. These are church leaders, church elders, church pastors whose congregation watch my videos, and then they may email me and we have a dialogue. I ask them to go back to their pastors and to ask the questions directly to them. They in turn get abused or pushed back, and subsequently I then get the brunt of that attack. Now, some of these are individuals that I have spoken with on and off for about a year since the channel's been operational. But once again, there's just a general unwillingness to have these conversations. And it's pretty much that, in the Black community, especially in the Black religious community, we do not discuss that. It's fake. We don't want to hear it. We don't even want to debate it. We don't want to look into it. Nobody needs to know that. And simply because, one, they don't like the questions that are coming back to them from their congregation who watch the videos. Two, they don't know how to answer these questions. And in the event that they do know how to answer it, they don't want to answer it, because in answering it, it raises more questions about their religious practices and effectively takes food out of their food and money out of their pockets.
Like somebody would say immediately that is the definition of dogma. Here you have it in black and white, whether it's the inflexibility. The simple law is, if you don't like it, turn it off. Like we used to say with TV. No, they don't want to turn it off for themselves. They want to turn it off for everybody, which just shows you that freedom is not on their list of things, that they prioritize, which is interesting. The fact that they want the whole world. So somebody would say that shows an insecurity. All dogma, whether it's even scientism, which is still based in belief, or something else that's based in belief, but a little bit of prodding, a little bit of opening the box and re-questioning premises shows that the thing is very insecure, because it's an obvious human fact that if you're secure in what you believe, you're not necessarily thrown by criticism, isn't it? It's almost like this is them revealing their absolute insecurity, would you not say?
Light is that these are religious men, predominantly. No, they're all men leading and preaching and professing in the name of God. But if you see some of the text messages and emails that I get, these are in no way pious men at all.
Oh, wow. Yeah, no, I know what you mean. It's really
like the leftists, right? It's the same reaction you're going to get. Like that same type that you're talking about. I find that interesting, that typically I wonder politically where these people would say they align, right? They would say, I'm against abortion. I'm against all this leftist and all this suppression, and Christianity's under attack, right? They're going to have that view, possibly. I don't know. Most of the Christians I talk to feel that way, but then they turn around and act in the same manner when their paradigm is challenged. It's phenomenal to watch, eh?
Yeah, and of course it makes you then wonder about how anything could be a synthesis, and it also then that it could be, and also then it makes it much more plausible that we should all agree to disagree. And it seems that these are meant to be the people who put themselves at a particular echelon, and yet they haven't even worked out that simple thing where let you speak what you speak. I don't have to agree with you, but I can give you the freedom to speak what you want, so that I know then where I stand, where you stand becomes a coordinate for me to know where I am at. This would be a natural way. And there was a time when you could sit down with people who were very, very antithetical politically or ideologically to you, but you still could have the human respect to let them speak as you would want them to do to you. Now, these are basic ethical principles. It's even in the Bible, right? Do unto others as you would like them to do to yourself. But then at the same time, there's incredible misinterpretation. So what happens is it seems that these dogmatic groups are looking at something that is actually quite vast. I mean, you'll agree that the Bible is not one tradition. It is not one story. I mean, you've even got 4 gospels and they differ. I mean, it's quite axiomatic that that's the fact. And then all of the other miscellanea that's involved. Who dare come along? I mean, who dare come along and say, right, we are the ones who've got the absolute, declarative opinion on all of this, and no one else, everyone else will be pilloried or burned at the stake if there's even a slight inflection on the orthodoxy or the dogmatic aspect. That alone is so pathetic. And that's why you get, all sorts of denominations, Quakers, whoever they are, millennialists, Seventh-day Adventists, and all of the other splinter groups. You'd think that by now in the modern age, they all would have realized, one, let others speak without, fear of reprisal or whatever. And secondly, question this fundamental fact of who can take this gigantic corpus and dare say that they have that they've boxed it or framed it. I mean, that alone is really presumptuous, right?
It is, but to add to that, there's a small group of abuse I get from the Black Hebrew Israelites. So this is a group that profess to be the chosen people of the Bible. So they've taken on the identity of the Israelites. So therefore, the Bible is talking about them. So I am a Gentile, I am a heathen. So when I do videos where I discuss the Hebrew Israelites of the Bible, when I discuss and challenge the concept of the chosen people, they take this very personally. So this is no longer a case where we can actually discuss the information, because now they see it as I'm taking digs directly at them as the chosen people. So it's amazing how, in assuming the identity of the people of the Bible, how protective and how violent their rhetoric has been towards me simply for challenging, one, their identity, two, the biblical philosophy of what they're trying to profess to be and what they're about. So it ties in exactly back to what you just said.
Let's come back to that. But as David said, you've had Ralph Ellis on. It's just jogged my mind, because there is a very important trajectory that he takes, which is fundamental to understanding the roots of religion. But since he's been on, because he's talking about digging them up, his work has enormous meaning for the identity of Jesus, but also of Israelites, taking it back to Parthia, taking it back to Atnists even. What on earth? And St. Paul took simple Judaism and rescripted it for the Gentiles and all of that. You'd think that these groups would be absolutely, if not elated, at least very receptive to that new. They're meant to be saying that the world anthropology, so religious studies will vindicate them. And yet, as you're saying, they seem to be threatened. Have you had any backlash on what Ralph has said? I mean, there must be positives as well, right? But what about the backlash against that type of thesis?
Oh, yeah, most definitely. I think Ralph and yourselves are the two speakers who I get the most backlash from off the back of our discussions. And whilst Ralph is very vocal, either about the Egyptians or about the Israelites, it's any topic that touches on the Israelites and challenges the biblical position, whether it's to do with the historicity of Jesus, because archaeology and DNA are things that they definitely do not believe in DNA, because DNA will not prove who they are. The average Black Hebrew Israelite